action.
I see my name in shining lights, yeah, a different city every night. Oh, I swear the world better prepare for when I'm a billionaire.
It's time to get down to business on the weekend's #1 business program. Known as the King of Networking, your host, Shalom Klein, has worked with thousands of entrepreneurs and created countless jobs. So, to success. Let's get down to business.
We are all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship and business. We talk a lot about business here. You're on with Get Down to Business, and I'm your host, Shalom Klein. We are all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship, and I'm thrilled to be joined by a fantastic lineup of guests, including some fantastic entrepreneurs right here in studio. Remember, we are powered by our good friends at Tandem HR, your solution center. Give them a call, 630-928-0510, 630-928-0510, or visit their website, tandemhr.com. So among those fantastic entrepreneurs I just mentioned is my good friend and returning guest, Warren Bren. Warren, welcome to the program.
Thank you, Shalom.
So I am blessed with 2 arms and 2 legs, but you have revolutionized the meaning of the word arm because, Warren, if I'm not mistaken, you are a believer that there's a different sort of approach that people can take to become more effective professionals, more effective individuals, and you have created that approach and are really helping so many companies and so many business owners change their lives.
That's correct. It's called the Alternative Response Method, and ARM for short, and it's based on military and martial arts and other disciplines, and I've really called the basic fundamental principles that make people and organizations in those areas successful, and I've sort of broken it down so that it's accessible to all of us.
So, Warren, you are filled in your house. You have a lovely bunch of women. Has that influenced your decision-making process?
It has. It's sort of like honed it because I have 3 daughters and a wife, and I've really, when they were born, I really worked very hard. What do I need to do as a parent and as a husband to become better all the time? And it really forced me to look at my deficiencies and developed alternative responses to the challenges that every parent and everybody faces.
So decisions are things that we deal with every single day. We make countless numbers of decisions without even thinking about them. What is it about the ARM method that allows people to become more effective in the decisions that they make?
So it's a complicated program with a lot of different moving parts, but the main thing is to develop an eye for what is decisional and what is non-decisional. And in most of our cases, it really involves taking our ego and the emotions out of the decisions and really looking at the data accurately and strategically thinking about better ways to respond.
Fascinating. So what is the process? Let's say we became a client. How would you work with myself? How would you work with another professional in sort of doing that intake, understanding what I am all about, and perhaps what is that process of improvement?
Sure. Whether it's an individual or organization, it's the same. We do an intake where we look backwards to determine what the organization or the individual's capacities are for a variety of reasons. And then we evaluate the goals that they have, and we determine, are they momentum-based, were they developed 20 years ago, and are really not in alignment with their current interests and their current capacities. And then we either fix those or we determine current goals. We align those with the capacities, and then we come up with tools and skills based on organizational and individual capacities to make those goals obtainable.
Is there a one-size-fits-all approach, meaning if I'm a lawyer and somebody else is an accountant, will that approach and that method be the same, or is it a customized approach?
It's completely customized. There are a lot of other programs out there that you have to fit into their framework. ARM is completely different. We acknowledge that people are differently. It's not like you buy 100 Apple computers and they all perform exactly the same way. People have different capacities, and we have dozens of different tools to optimize different people, different capacities per person. So it's not one size fit all. It's more like we customize the program based on goals, capacities, desires. So it's really customized.
A customized approach that helps a number of people, and we'll talk a little bit more about that sort of ideal clientele and the people that really can benefit from working with the ARM method. But let's go back to your story for a moment. Warren, we talked about your family, and we talked a little bit about some of the hats that you wear. You mentioned martial arts, but where did this process, how did it develop, and who have you worked with already?
Well, my kids are all uninvited candidates of the program, but I own a consulting company that does technical consulting to very large corporations, some of the biggest corporations in the world. And we do technical consulting in the realm of corrosion mitigation, but they all get armed. They just don't know it. When I go through a complicated evaluation for a refinery or the Chicago Public Schools, I'm chewing through the data and I'm determining what's decisional and what's non-decisional, and then I'm feeding back to them the optimal solution. I don't call it ARM, and they don't know what it's based upon, but they're the beneficiary of the method, if that makes sense.
It sure does. And I know we've talked about some of your experiences as you've raised your children in how you have used this approach to help them better their decision-making process as well.
Oh, sure. I have hundreds of examples. One of my favorite ones is my oldest daughter is a very accomplished pianist, and she was 6 or 7, and she was studying at Northwestern already. And she would get frustrated playing the piano. You've been to my house. It's a tiny house.
It's a beautiful house.
Thank you. And her sisters would run around and specifically try to annoy her, and Jessica would get all upset. And so we had a conversation. I said, look, when you sit down at the piano, it's the relationship between you and the piano, and you should be able to develop focus so that nothing else bothers you. Rather than teach her to try to modify the environment for her, I try to teach her to hone her focus. And it was about 6 or 7 days later, she was playing the piano, practicing, and her little sister was literally playing on the other end of the piano, playing on the keyboard and tapping, and Jessica was so focused it didn't matter. And Jessica went on to produce a CD, and she was on radio and TV, and she did dozens of concerts and won awards, and she never, ever got stage fright or nervous, and it can all be traced back to that focus of, hey, you can respond to these outside variables any way that you choose to.
Fascinating. So we've talked about your daughter, the pianist. We've talked about those large corporations that you're doing corrosion consulting for. So am I correct to assume, Warren, that it's all widgets? It really doesn't matter what line of work somebody's in. A customized approach can be developed for them?
That's exactly correct. And on one hand, it's a great thing because it's applicable to everybody and every organization. On the other hand, it's kind of a marketing challenge because I should be identifying what market to choose. But I'm a serial entrepreneur, and part of the fun for me is just sort of talking to people in different walks of life and doing different things. I don't want to be pigeonholed.
Sure.
I find really enjoyment in just helping people. And so, yeah, it's relevant for everybody. You see it most effectively with high perform, the military, martial arts, athletes. They already do a lot of this within their area of expertise, but then they have trouble adapting it to other areas in their life. And so what we do is we take that very high-performing skill set and we say, how do we apply that to your marriage? How do we apply that to your job? How do we stop you from being a road rager? And there are tools for each one of those things that people are trying to accomplish.
Wow. Well, Warren, we are quickly running out of time, but I am curious, after sort of that initial, obviously, intake and the initial customized approach, what about the ongoing support?
So that's another great thing about ARM. We want to get in and get out. We want to teach people the tools, and it doesn't matter. They can give us one problem. We teach them the tools, and then it's my preference for them not to use us anymore. I don't want to be a crutch. I want to really give them tools and techniques that they can use and apply in their life. We can provide ongoing accountability or support as long as they need to, but I don't want it to be therapeutic. I want to get in, I want to teach them, and then I want them to go out on their own and be successful in their own right.
A true coach, and you clearly have honed in on that, on helping people the most effective way possible. Warren Brand from the ARM Method. Warren, no doubt our listeners have a lot of questions and surely want to help get their 2019 off to a good start. How can they get a hold of you?
The easiest way is just go to our website. It's armmethod.com, and you can contact me through that.
Okay, armmethod.com. Get in touch with Warren Brand. Warren, you've been on the program in the past, and I know you call yourself a serial entrepreneur, but that's because you understand the challenges that people in business face, and you can help them become better entrepreneurs themselves as well. So thanks for coming in the studio and sharing your secrets.
It's always an honor, Shalom. Thank you.
Absolutely. Well, coming up after the break, I'm going to be chatting with AJ Spitz, who's going to talk to us about his video production company. I'm excited for that conversation. Looking forward to that. Get Down to Business is powered by our good friends at Tandem HR, your solution center. Give them a call, 630-928-0510, 630-928-0510, or visit their website, tandemhr.com. As always, get on my website, shalomklein.com. That's where you can download podcasts from today's show, get a sneak peek of who will be on next week on the show, all about small business, jobs, and entrepreneurship. Chicago, don't touch that dial. You're listening to Get Down to Business, and we will be right back.
Sean Hannity explains why Pelosi won't sit down with the